Well, good evening, everyone, and I just want to give a few seconds for you to come online, and I want to just talk to you a little bit about the good news. And I've been putting it out on text and on Facebook. And good news today: we got our biopsy preliminary results, and those results, I believe the doctor was shocked in a good way. She just seemed very, very amazed at the results. And before I go any further, there's just like not too many on yet, so I'm just gonna talk about a few other things. But we have a lot to be thankful for, I can tell you. And you know, I never thought I'd be able to go through this, and people keep saying, well, this is so hard. And I went through it, and I did a lot of time with my phone today, texting people, emailing people that have been asking questions, and I probably didn't get to everybody, but it was a lot of time. And so I started explaining things more and more. I started explaining things because some people seem to have the idea that because we had good results today, that's the end, and I'm cured of cancer or leukemia. I'm not. And I mean, God could heal me. I know that. He could use his miraculous power to heal me like that. But he doesn't choose to always do that. He is the healer. And the results today were actually phenomenal. I came in here with the thought that I had between 40 and 50% cancer cells in my body, in my bones, particularly in my bone marrow. And early on, they did it was my third biopsy. The two were done in Oneida earlier and since August. But the one here almost a month ago that I came in, and they found that, no, it's like 21%. It's not 40 to 50%. So that was good news. And so they did the usual tests to make sure my heart was good and all this other thing. They really are thorough here. Actually, in this particular floor that I'm on, everybody has leukemia. That's all that this section deals with. My doctor is a leukemia specialist, and she's one of the best in the area, I'm told. And I can see that. She's very sharp. And so today it went from 21 over the course of the 21 days I've been on chemo. I didn't start the chemo right away. I had to, like I said, go through those tests. And then, so I went on the chemo. First, it was the pill every day, and in the evening, one pill. And the morning was 4 shots for 7 days. And they overlapped. And then after the 7 days, I continued with the pill till yesterday. And today they informed me, you don't need to take this pill anymore. And I said, hallelujah, no more. And the reason is because the biopsy came back, and many of you already saw it, what we wrote, but it went from 21% to 2%. And the doctor basically told me, oh, for all practical purposes, your bone marrow is empty of cancer cells. But that doesn't mean that there aren't any, there's still 2%. And they can reproduce again because they're mutated cells, and they could, again, go back up. So now I am off chemo, and I got my first treatment tonight at 6 o'clock. I was given a shot in this arm, and that is medication that stimulates bone marrow to produce white blood cells, because I have no immune system, but over the next few days I'm gonna get one, because it's gonna start to reproduce good, healthy white blood cells. But in the process, we can't just say I'm cured and go on and say live happily ever after, because the leukemia is still there. It's just I guess it's like a remission. I don't know what the medical profession calls it at this point, what the status is. But anyway, I'm just very happy. I'm gonna probably put a few pounds on. I lost a few pounds. I'm probably gonna put them back because I was told my appetite's gonna come back. Anyway, I just wanna let you all know what's going on, because I know a lot of you have questions and all. So this is only the victory of step 1. Step one, victory. We had a victory today. I even had my dog visit me earlier today before I knew this, and so that was a good day today. It was a very good day, and we even had a visit from a local pastor that we know, who's made several visits to us, Pastor Dan Scrablich from Calvary Full Gospel Church, not too far from this hospital. Anyway, that was quite encouragement. And having my daughter Debbie here from New Jersey, she flew in yesterday, and she's not going to stay long enough, in my opinion, but she's going to stay as long as she can, so she'll be leaving tomorrow evening. But I'll be seeing her again tomorrow. So it's been a great day for me. So I just wanted to let everyone know that this was only step number one. This is only the first step. And so now that the cancer cells are down to 2%, now my body can start producing its own red blood cells, platelets, which are the cells in your blood that cause clotting, and white blood cells that cause your immunity. And I have 0 right now. But as the chemo wears off, I only haven't had, it's been 24 hours since I took the last pill. As it wears off, my body's going to start being able to reproduce. And the shot they gave me today, they gave me that shot, and it's a stimulant to stimulate the bone marrow to make white blood cells. So in a few days, they take blood tests on me every day at 2:30 in the morning. And then by 5:30 in the morning, I find out whether I can continue to sleep or that I have to get hooked up to a transfusion. Now, before they did the biopsy yesterday, which was quite uncomfortable, but I've had it done before, so it wasn't news to me. But because my platelets were way down, way below normal, they had to give me a transfusion of platelets too. So I know you all say, many of you say that I look pretty good and I feel pretty good, but it's, I'm getting transfusions. I've had blood, I'm losing count, at least 5 times since I've been here, blood transfusion. And they're trying to keep my blood counts up high, but I should be getting those less now because my body can make its own, and that's wonderful. So this is just one of many steps. So the next step is I'm going to go home once I have this level of white cells come up so that I have an immune system again. They're looking for a minimal threshold. Okay, it's going to still be way below normal, but it'll be enough for them to feel comfortable to release me out into the world of germs. But I am also on prophylaxis, antibiotics, antifungal, and antiviral medications. So once this happens, they'll send me home. I get to go back to Oneida for a little while, maybe a week or two. And then I have to come back here, and we're going to have a place to stay for a week, because we're going to do 1 week of those shots again in the lower abdomen. And so I'll have 4 shots a day. There is an option to do it through infusion. That will be through the PICC line that I have, which is covered now. I think it looks better covered, don't you? Yeah. And so I'm going to get those for 7 days, but we'll have to have accommodations. So this is the big expense, is the accommodations. Like my wife's been in, they call it an Airbnb. She's been in this for almost a month now. And so that's how she's staying nearby with Bosley. So, that's one expense. And we do have Medicare, so they're covering a lot of the medical expenses. And we've also been blessed by these cancer foundations that are helping us with some co-pays. So we are very happy. And we've applied for application for help with the hospital here and the one in Oneida to get a discount. So we're trying to do what we can do. We have no idea what the ultimate bill is going to be for that, but they're doing an awful lot here, and there's an awful lot of things going on that I'm sure without insurance I would be broke. I'm certainly sure. So thankfully Medicare is covering a lot for us in the medical side, but there is no insurance for the lodging. Now, after we're here 7 days as an outpatient, so I get to stay with my wife and Bosley at the place, and I come here, and they'll give me those shots for 7 days. Then we go back to Oneida for 3 more weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. And then I have to come back here again for a short time, maybe a day or two, to have another biopsy done. Because then they're going to see, well, where are you now with your blood levels? Okay, so that's going to be like almost like deja vu, right? We have to, over and over, we have to do that. Now, the doctor tells me, the specialist, the head doctor, she tells me that I may get away with just going one more time. And if I don't have the results that they want, it'll be close. And I may have to go for a third. The whole idea is to prepare for the transplant. The transplant is in another wing of this building, of this hospital, and that's all they do is transplants. So they're very specialized here. They are very good at what they do because it's what they do. That's all they do. The leukemia people just do leukemia. And so they know, and they're on top of the research, and they're doing all that they can to overcome leukemia. And so, like I said, everybody on this floor that I'm on has leukemia. But I can tell you this, I am the one in the best shape. I mean, a lot of these people here, they're older than I am. They're lying in their beds with oxygen things on their nose. They're walking around with the IV stands. And so, you know, I only get a little IV if I need a transfusion. And I get that usually while I'm lying in bed and through the PICC line. And it doesn't even hurt. I feel anything. Now, like I said, tonight I had the first shot, and I'm going to get one, I think, every day for a few days. And then every day they do a blood test, and they're going to see if my white counts are coming up. And when they reach a certain point, then, whereas right now they're 0, they're called neutrophils. Once they're 0, once they get up to even just 0.05 is all. It's not looking at come up way high. They'll let me out. Okay, so this is a process. So I know some people seem to have been confused. They were like really rejoicing. I'm rejoicing because it went down to 2% from 21% of the cancer cells. And they found 0 in my blood. There's none. So with the first good news this morning, the results of my blood test last night, a nurse practitioner came in and says, you have none. Here, these are your counts. This is your hemoglobin. She went through the whole thing. She goes, and you have 0, what's called blast cells, 0 in your blood. However, you can't tell that from just a blood test, so that's why I had the biopsy yesterday, bone marrow biopsy. And so the biopsy told them that it went from 21% from the last biopsy, just under a month ago, to 2%. They were expecting and hoping for 5%. So when they saw 2%, I could see the doctor, the leukemia doctor, she came in to tell me this, and she was like really, really like pumped. I can see it. Like she was like, wow, you know. So you see, God is working, and it's your prayers. It's your prayers. I've been telling the nurses here that, you know, I have more people praying for me now than I even know. I said, I can't even count how many people are praying for us. I said, so I got a lot of people praying, and God is here. I told them, I've got the peace of the Lord in the middle of all of this, and I don't know how that's affecting them, but it's my hope that they'll start asking questions, and some of them have been. You know, they start asking me questions about what I do. What I do is today was just a whole discussion about being a police chaplain and what that entailed with my nurse for today. Anyway, so that's what it's at. And now the transplant's a whole nother thing. The transplant's going to involve 100 days of lodging here in Buffalo. So this is not easy for us. You know, we've disrupted our house, our dogs, our lives, our church. You know, it's like, and I thought about what Jesus told Peter at the end of John's gospel. He said to him, when you were young, you went wherever you wanted, but when you are old, someone will lead you where you don't want to go. And I can tell you, I didn't want to come here. Not because it's Roswell, and this is not Roswell, New Mexico. Somebody asked me that. You don't see any aliens behind me, right? Good thing. No, this is Roswell Park Cancer Center in Buffalo, New York. And anyway, so I didn't want to come here, but you know what? I could see God's hand in this, and He wanted me here. And I'm not one to question all the little things God is doing. He's so intricate in his maneuverings. Who knows what people here needed to see me or meet me? I don't know. And so you and I, we have to always be open to what the Lord's doing. And I told you in my last video, Matthew 11, 28, 29, 30, taking his yoke on you. And he says, you will find rest under your soul. And I have found that right here in this, I keep calling it a hotel. I do order food with an app. I get whatever I want to eat. But I found peace in my soul right here in this hospital room. And so, I'm here. I told my wife I'm probably looking like I'm a prisoner. And she's like on vacation because she's in the Airbnb. But you know what? It's no vacation for her. Excuse me. Also, about the transplant. So it'll be a full month back in the hospital again after I go through these cycles, being in Oneida as an outpatient, being here as an outpatient, 7 days here, 3 weeks in Oneida. I'll be under the care in Oneida of my hematologist there. And then back here for, if I need it, another 7 days of abdominal shots, 4 a day for 7 days. And I'm not sure I'm going to be taking that pill every day too, but I'm going to ask. I think, as far as I know, they didn't say I wouldn't be. So after all of that, then they're looking for a donor. I think they have found a list of several possible matches for me already. And so they're going to have a bone marrow donor. And that this is going to be very brutal because the 1 month, the 30 days I will be in the hospital, and then after those 30 days, I will have had the transplant, and then I will be an outpatient for 70 days approximately. And so we're going to need lodging for all of that time, and so that's going to get expensive. But here's the thing. For the 30 days that I'll be here, it starts off with very harsh chemotherapy, a lot worse than the chemo I've had already. I've had very little side effects to this chemo in here. And I get asked every day the same questions. Do you have this pain? Do you feel this? Do you have nausea? Do you have diarrhea? Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have headaches? Do you have sore throat? Open your mouth. Do you have sores in your mouth? And it goes on. And everyone, guess what the answer is? No, I don't have any of those. Those are the side effects, and I don't have them. So, God can also get me through the next one, but for that 30 days, getting ready for the transplant, they're going to have to destroy my bone marrow. Because the whole idea of a transplant is to wipe out my bone marrow and then give me somebody else's bone marrow cells and let them take, that's what they have to match, they donor match, and then they will reproduce into my bone marrow, and I will be a clean slate. I will not have any more immunity from vaccines I've had before. The smallpox vaccine, polio vaccine, all that. Measles, everything I'm immune to now. I'm immune to chickenpox, all that. I will no longer be immune to those. I will have a clean slate, So in a sense, my bone marrow will be born again, in a sense, right? But so that's what it works, and that's going to be 30 days in here. Starts with very harsh and very powerful chemo, and they're not saying there might be. They're saying there are going to be side effects to that, and at least for first few days. And you know what? God's grace is sufficient. He's got me this far. We're going to go all the way. So, in the beginning, right now today, this is like a new beginning because we're starting the next step. The next step was the shots for the white blood count to come up. But I apologize if I misled anybody because I made it I was so excited, I probably made it look like I'm cured because some people think, okay, now you can go home now. It's like, no, I can go home once the white come up and only for a short time. Then I have to come back and do the chemo shots again and possibly those pills again. And hopefully that'll be it. Just one more cycle of it. The doctor said she's hopeful that will be it. But she said, if necessary, we'll go 2 cycles. So we're looking at this transplant not being done till April or May. It depends. It could even go later. But I don't think they want to go too long because they don't want the leukemia cells to start reproducing again and bringing me back up to the high level that I was at before. Again, it was 21% blast cells, and today it's 2% after my chemo was completed. So it worked, and they were not expecting it to only be 2%. So you know what? God does exceedingly abundantly above all we could ask or think, according to the power that works in us. And I just want to tell you a song that the Lord gave me today. And I just started singing it. I had the Pastor Dan Scrabblett here, and my daughter was here, Debbie, and my wife was here. And when we got this news, I just started, right after a few moments after I started singing, here's the words. Okay, ready? Ready? See if you know the song. See if you know it from, I'm not singing the regular chorus. I'm just going to start with this, okay? And here it is. And remember, we're going step by step here, right? Step by step, we're moving forward. Little by little, we're taking ground. Every prayer a powerful weapon. Strongholds come tumbling down and down and down and down and down. Do you remember what song that is? We want to see Jesus lifted high, a banner that flies above the land, that all men might see the truth and know He is the way to heaven. We want to see Jesus lifted high. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, why don't you just shoot them right to me now? I can see it on the screen. Anybody have any questions? Those of you who are watching. But you know, we're just starting. We're going step by step. We're moving forward. Little by little, we're taking ground. And every prayer, and I appreciate your prayers, every prayer is a powerful weapon. God's hearing your prayers. We pray and God moves. That's the way it is. It's not us. It's God. It's all Him. These people here are wonderful. They realize some of them are Christians. I asked one today, she went across, I says, are you a believer? She says, yes, I am. I said, praise the Lord. You see, they're instruments in God's hand. God is the healer. And though He uses their knowledge, it couldn't work except God made us in a certain way because we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Well, I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm just going to say good night. And we'll tell you next time. This is live from Roswell Park Cancer Center in Buffalo, New York. And I'm saying good night to you and keep those bad